What's up, everybody? It's your boy Toxic Boy Yo coming back at you with another death battle reaction. We got a lot of these to get through. Maybe in a perfect world, at some point in time, I will have eventually reacted to every death battle, but that's going to take a long time and a lot of commitment. Right now, we're just getting through the most recent couple that I've heard the most discussion about. Um, and to keep things authentic, I'm only doing ones that I haven't seen. Today, we've got Omni-Man versus Bardock. This is the second time that we've used Omni-Man in one of these battles. Some characters get recycled so often that it's ridiculous. Like, I think Batman's had 4 opponents. He fought Spider-Man, Captain America, Black Panther, and Iron Man. Absolutely absurd. But, Omni-Man versus Bardock, I get it, I guess. I don't necessarily see the correlation the way that I would if it was, like, Omni-Man, or, like, Bardock and Jor-El or something, but, you know, Jor-El would obliterate Bardock, so. And just like I always do, I'm going to skip past the lore and the explanation of the characters because I know just about everything there is to know about Bardock, and I also know just about everything there is to know about Omni-Man. Before we get into it, let me find where it starts here. An ad for Manscaped. Before we get started, I'm going to weigh in on who I think should win, based on what I know about each character. I would posit that Bardock should win this fight. Unless, for some reason, they go into outer space. Because Bardock can't survive in space, Saiyans in general can't survive in space, but Omni-Man obviously can, Viltrumites can. So, as long as that doesn't happen, I would say that Bardock, even as a low-class Saiyan, still has the edge over Omni-Man. Just because, while Viltrum is a larger planet than Earth, spoilers for Invincible, if you haven't read the comics, it took the efforts, the combined efforts of Nolan, Mark, and Thetis striking the planet at the right moment, at the right speed, at the same time, while Space Racer was shooting it, and the core was destabilized. All of that had to come together for them to destroy the planet. And if anything had been wrong, they would have died on impact. Bardock is a planet buster. You know, I know he's not a particularly powerful Saiyan, but like any Saiyan that can turn into an ape, or has turned into an ape before, is probably strong enough to destroy your average planet. So with that scaling, and maybe destroying a planet in Invincible is different than destroying a planet in Dragon Ball. That's not a conversation I'm particularly too interested in having, but that's my reasoning. I think Bardock should win this fight. Let's hop in and see how it goes.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
You couldn't use a game render of Bardock? He's in so many games. There he is. What they got Omni-Man to do one. So we're doing this fight in the Dragon Ball universe. Is that Viltrum? That can't be Viltrum.
Great. Another gross bug planet.
Oh, you couldn't get Sunny to do it? Oh, there he is. Why he look like that? Why he look like that? He looked like action figure. Why does he look like that? Oh my god, just look at all of this. His head goes straight into his shoulder. Look at whatever.
This planet isn't anyone's to conquer.
Don't underestimate me.
I will say, if I see Bardock turn into a Super Saiyan, I'm freaking out. It's not canon. Don't put episode of Bardock in here. We know from watching Dragon Ball Super Broly that he did not get time traveled by Frieza's attack. He got vaporized down to his skeleton. We saw his bones turn to dust. Okay? Alright. But he's not wearing the correct colors, so I don't necessarily feel good about that.
Just like my son, sticking his nose in places he's not ready.
His scouter's gone. That's the Riot Javelin. I would have liked to see Bardock scan Omni-Man. If I had to speculate as to what Omni-Man's power level is, I'd say maybe 500. I know that sounds ridiculous, but like, Raditz had a power level of like 1500. And I don't think that there's any Invincible character that comes close to that number. Except for maybe Thrag.
You're an embarrassment.
He's just now looking at the moon. After all this. That's fine, I guess.
Wait till you see the real power of a Saiyan.
Am I supposed to be impressed?
Yeah, you probably should be concerned. But at this point, assuming that Bardock and Raditz have the same power level, Bardock just shot up to 15,000. You know? And so, I don't think that... Yeah, hit him with that old Saiyan Saga. Don't piss me off.
Shit.
And Bardock loses. They're in space.
No. My sons need me. I won't let you take me from my world.
I would like to see something. It looks like the commenters are not very happy with the outcome of this battle. And again, assuming that Bardock's power level is 1500 like Raditz's, he just got a 50 times multiplier. So he is now rocking a power level of 75,000. I just don't think Omni-Man stands a chance. But whatever. And also, to point out the obvious, Bardock still can't survive in space, so he...
You said Saiyan. Remember it.
What's happening? Why is it shaking like that? Is that it? No way his blood is that reflective.
KO! Okay, these Gokus have got to stop picking fights with guys in capes.
Pitting Saiyan against Viltrumite is fascinating. Among the many
So no, I don't think so. I just simply don't think so. And I'm not even a Dragon Ball fanboy. I probably do like Invincible more than Dragon Ball. Omni-Man just doesn't stand a chance against any Saiyan. Like, I get it. Bardock is not nearly as strong as his son or his grandsons or his great-granddaughter. That's cool, I get that. But, he's stronger than Omni-Man.
similarities, 5 specific categories stand out.
Starting with speed.
Let's hear this rationale.
Faster, given his power level matched Goku dodging asteroids at 9.5 trillion times light speed. Much higher than the Viltrumite's fastest dodging asteroids.
Bardock's future sight from his original appearance was not influential due to its unreliability and inconsequential influence on presently occurring events. I don't think... I didn't say anything about his future sight. I forgot he had that.
9.5 trillion times light
Because I don't think
speed,
episode of
much
Bardock is
higher than
canon.
the Viltrumite's fastest speed. Add on the 50 times multiplier from Super Saiyan.
Omni-Man could possibly scale to Universa, who flew from beyond the observable universe to Earth and back in under a day, 34 trillion times the speed of light. Bardock would still exceed such speed with Super Saiyan. Okay.
And it's a huge difference.
Right, Bardock clearly has the speed advantage, but strength and durability are another story.
Though it doesn't seem like it at first, Bardock scales to King Veggie, who wrecked 3 planets.
If he scales to King Vegeta, because I believe King Vegeta had a power level of 18,000. If he scales to King Vegeta, then as an ape, his power level was 180,000. And as a Super Saiyan, what's 18 times 50? It's 9 times 10, 90. 90 plus, so 90,000 plus, or Jesus Christ, 90,000 times 5. It's 450,000. Did I do that right? I hope so. Hang on. 18,000 times 50. I was wrong. It's 90,000. Can you tell how long it's been since I took a math class? Jesus Christ.
Planets at once, and Omni-Man only smashed 1. But given how
And he had
big
help.
that one planet was, the numbers are actually pretty similar until we factor in the Super Saiyan boost, right?
Well, there's a catch. A major plot point in Invincible
It's not just about enemies of the Viltrumites. It's about eliminating things that can hurt them, things that can hurt Viltrumites. My dad is telling me how to beat them.
involves the coalition of planets
We now have a list of weapons and beings that can hurt a Viltrumite, things that will become very valuable to the coalition of planets. Wouldn't he have known about the Scourge virus, though, in the Ragnars? Anyway.
admitting that their weapons cannot hurt Viltrumites.
So, when their ship's cannon obliterated this gigantic solar disk, it highlighted just how tough the Viltrumites really are.
This disk completely blocked the sunlight and heat between a planet and its star.
The Ragnar are vicious. We need to be careful. When Viltrumites discovered this race of monsters, they sent a few teams here to try and destroy them, to disastrous results. These things are indestructible. Finally, I came up with the idea of using a solar disk to block their sun, freezing them. If these things thaw out while we're here,
And this is no
we're
ordinary planet.
probably
Its
in
size
trouble.
and density are so
The cannon that destroyed the disk has a smaller diameter than the body of a Viltrumite. So the blast's large surface area at a distance will not impact scaling. Conquest also destroyed the ship later, despite the fact that it can withstand its own firepower, again, cementing Viltrumites as superior to it.
high that its inhabitants are as strong as Viltrumites just due to living in its natural gravity. To fully block the light to such a planet and remain in consistent orbit, the disk would need to be positioned at its L1 point, the spot that creates an uninterrupted view between sun and satellite, and the disk itself must be about half the diameter of the star in question. This means the scaling of the disk puts it at 3 septillion tons,
That's 24
Okay.
zeros.
which makes Omni-Man over 11,000 times stronger than base Bardock.
Not even the Great Ape or Super Saiyan forms could make up that difference. So strength goes to Nolan.
Still, numbers aren't
What?
everything. As far as versatility in combat goes, neither had one distinct advantage.
So, because I mentioned the planet-destroying feat, and I like how they brought that up, just to be like, well, that doesn't matter because we found this other very hyper-specific feat that doesn't have a direct comparison within the other fictional world that we're talking about. There's nothing to compare that solar ring feat to. So you can't say that Bardock couldn't have done something like that. We just didn't ever see him do it because no such opportunity ever presented itself. But I'm willing to bet you that considering the fact that Omni-Man represented 1/4 of the destructive power that it took to pop Viltrum, that if Bardock is capable of popping a planet on his own, any strength feat we see from Omni-Man or any Viltrumite that's not Thrag, at least, Bardock could probably also do. Maybe I'm crazy.
advantage that could win outright.
Omni-Man survives in space for much longer, but
I feel like a
really
crazy
squeaks
person.
out the edge here thanks to his ranged versatility with key attacks and, of course, Super Saiyan.
Okay, let's address the Super Saiyan Bardock thing. It's perfectly fair to question whether or not the form should be in this comparison at all. However, even
It shouldn't
with the
be.
form included, Nolan still takes this, especially when it comes to our last two categories, experience and stamina.
Yep.
Experience, sure.
A lot longer than Bardock, over 2,000 years, and even with Super Saiyan, Bardock's no master of the form.
And without that mastery, the form
Ouch.
drains the user's energies at an increased rate. Which brings us to what may be Omni-Man's most surprising advantage.
Regardless of Bardock's own endurance, even with his tail, the Super Saiyan form requires extensive training to improve its power and efficiency over extended periods. That's true, but he wouldn't need it.
Those weird smart atoms.
Saiyans like Bardock can fight for days on end, but only for so long. Bardock possesses a limited pool of ki, which only depletes faster when using super forms like the Great Ape. In contrast, Omni-Man's biology prevents him from tiring in most cases, letting him travel across whole galaxies for weeks non-stop. And his smart atoms adjust to counter whatever
What do you mean he hasn't mastered Great Ape? What does that mean? Whatever.
physical strain he's subjected to.
Bardock's crazy speed and power made him a real challenge.
But Nolan's strength, experience, and sheer endurance presented an unstoppable and unshakable force that would inevitably land the killing blow.
When push came to shove, Omni-Man raised the bar.
Okay, that's enough. Yeah, Dragon Ball characters continue to lose in Death Battle. It's kind of shocking, honestly, how often this keeps happening. But I mean, whatever, I guess. You know, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do to redeem this. That's really stupid in my opinion. I don't agree that Bardock should have lost that fight. But you guys tell me in the comments. This is what we do here at Death Battle Reacts, you know? We typically disagree. Especially when anime characters are involved. But yeah, tell me what you guys think and what you want me to react to next. And as always, I will see you in the next video.